Plot. Plot, plot, plot. The definition of plot is the main events of a play, novel, movie, or similar work devised and presented by the writer as an interrelated sequence. This is probably the easiest part of storytelling, is creating a plot, creating a story. Every writer can come up with a story and a plot. Why? Because it's easy, and there's a reason why it's easy. It's because creating stories is fun. Creating stories is so much fun. Think about it. You can literally come up with a story for anything. Here's a story I just made up. Batman goes against Two-Face in a battle for the city. In this story, Two-Face is going to rob a military headquarters. He is then going to gather an army of other Batman villains, and then Batman will go against them and Batman will win. Boom! Sounds like a freaking fun story, right? So why is it then that when we create stories like this, that when it's time for us to finally write them, we start to struggle? The reason why we struggle when we write the story is we're trying to figure out, how do these main events that we've created connect? Because they're just not connecting. Or B, my story is just flat, it sucks. So why is this happening to us as writers? It's because the hardest part of writing, in my opinion, is creating a plot device. So now I know what you're thinking, Tyler. What's a plot device? A plot device or plot mechanism is any technique in a narrative used to move the plot forward. A contrived or arbitrary plot device may annoy or confuse the reader, causing a loss of the suspension of disbelief. Plot device is what is going to drive your story forward. It's going to be what gets the reader going and what will make them emotionally connected to your story. For example, let's take apart this Indiana Jones scene as an example for plot and plot device. Imagine that the massive boulder is your plot. It is your story. The boulder represents your plot and your story. It represents the main events, the things that are going to be happening in your story. We as the reader need to be hooked on this boulder. We need to understand its purpose. Why is it there? What is connecting this boulder with Indiana Jones? If we don't have this connection, we don't care about this boulder. We don't care about why Indiana Jones is running away from this boulder. Similarly, this is the reason why readers will not be connected with your story. They do not understand why these main events are happening. That's where the Golden Relic comes in. The Golden Relic is our plot device, the hook that is going to push your story forward so that the reader fully grasps why your story is going to be interesting. You see, without the Indiana Jones taking the relic, him being chased by a boulder wouldn't be as fun or entertaining, and us, as the readers, would be wondering, why is this happening? What's the point of all of this happening? So let's get back to my Batman and Two-Face story. I'll read it for you again. Batman goes against Two-Face in a battle for the city. In this story, Two-Face is going to rob a military headquarters. He is then going to gather an army of other Batman villains, and then Batman will go against them and Batman will win. Here are the questions that the reader needs to understand about my story. Number one, why is Two-Face going into this military headquarters? What is in this military headquarters that Two-Face needs? Is it weapons? Is it a specific weapon in mind? Is there a new ultra powerful weapon or person that is held up in this military facility that's going to help him defeat Batman? This is a plot device that's going to push the story forward, is that thing that he's going in there for. Next question, why does Two-Face need all these villains to help him? That's a main event, but what's connecting Two-Face and this event together? What is the plot device in this? Could one of the plot devices be that Batman has taken out all of his low-level goons? And that he now, because he has no henchmen, he now has to go to these other villains? Or is it because a villain like Bane is already planning on taking out Batman and he's going to interfere with Two-Face's plan, so they need to team up together, and that's why Two-Face and Bane and other villains go after Batman? Plot devices are what drive your story. They're what keep the story flowing, and they're what keep the reader engaged in the story. Without a good plot device, your story's gonna fail. So hey Ferk Gang, real quick before we continue talking about plot devices, I just wanted to let you know that Demons Volume 3 is currently on Indiegogo. Link up in the description, link down here, links everywhere. We are currently 29% funded. It'd be awesome to get funded by the end of the week. You can get volumes 1, 2, and 3 in this campaign. This is a campaign for new readers and old readers, and this is the finale of the series. I hope to see you there. All right, let's talk about plot devices some more. And I'm going to be coloring a page from Demons Volume 3 while I do it. Here we go. While I color this page of Demons right now, I just want to talk about how I use plot devices in Demons. And I want to talk about the things that I struggle with, because I struggle the most with this writing mechanism so much. So let's talk about that. The first plot device in Demons that I used was when Ace encountered his first demon, which is in issue number 1, and we introduced that first plot device on page 3. Because of this experience with this demon, that's what pushes him into the next event of finding out what these demons are, and we're then introduced to his father. The next plot device that needed to happen in order to drive the story forward was Ace coming home to his apartment and seeing that it was broken into. Ace coming into a destroyed apartment drives us to this next event, which is Ace getting attacked by the demon. The story ends with one last plot device, the cliffhanger of Ace going after the demon and bleeding out. This then leads us to the event on the first 2 pages of Demons issue 2, when Ace's father finds Ace passed out on the chapel stairs. We know that he went after the demons, and we know that he was bleeding out a bit. But what happened in between to cause him to get so damaged? Well, that's the question that we let linger. So like I said earlier, I struggle with this mechanic a lot. And it's not that I don't understand it, and I don't understand its importance, but I struggle applying it. Like plot devices that you use in your story will either make or break your story. Because they're so important, I mean, this is what's going to engage your reader and make them feel connected. Plot devices are what make plot holes. If you pick a bad plot device to connect 2 events in your story, it's going to make readers question the motives of your characters. They're going to ask, why are certain events happening the way that they are? And it's going to take them out of the story. The moment that you have a reader saying, why is this character acting like this? Or why are they making the decisions that they are? Or how are these events even connected at all? That's when your plot device that you have created has failed. And that's when your story starts failing. So am I perfect at creating these? No, and I'm not trying to tell you guys about plot devices and act like an expert. I'm telling you this as someone who's a complete amateur and who's wanting to educate people on what I've learned about plot devices. In fact, the story that I'm currently writing is going absolute terrible. Like, writing this story is one of the worst experiences right now. Why? Because I currently am unable to find a plot device that will help push my story forward enough that it will be interesting for the reader. And without this good push, I feel like my story won't have the same impact that I would want it to have. I mean, I want to have an emotional story that is also fun, but that means that the driving force that pushes my story forward needs to have some emotion in it, causing emotional conflict. And I just cannot find this connection right now. And that's fine. It's okay. It just means that I'm gonna, maybe have to sit this story out currently. But I'm gonna find it eventually. Maybe this story needs to be shelved and marinated for another day until I finally get that, light bulb. And go, yeah, I know what this story needs. But plot devices are something that I am actively working on currently. It's something that I want to get better at as a writer, because without a good plot device, without a good plot, something that's going to push the story forward, I feel like I'm going to struggle with my writing. I'm not going to be able to create an engaging story that connects me as the writer with the reader. And therefore my characters are basically going to be meaningless, and my story, as cool as I have these big main events, if there's no plot device that's good that connects them all, it's just a failure of a story. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had a silly goose time. We had a fun time. Please go check out Demons Volumes 1, 2, and 3, currently on Indiegogo. Link up here, link down there. We are currently funding on Indiegogo. We have 30 days left on the campaign. It would really mean a lot if you backed my project so I can send out these comics to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, remember to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you guys this Saturday for a 24-hour stream where we're going to create a comic book in one day. 24 hours. It's going to be a blast. We'll see you then. Peace.